The following is a paid program and does not reflect the opinions and views of Nexstar Media Incorporated, this station, its employees, or independent contractors. This program is not intended to provide viewers with legal advice. If you are seeking legal advice, please consult a licensed attorney.
The Red Hill Legal Roundtable is sponsored by Hosoda Law Group, Justwell Law, and Lanier Law Firm.
I've never felt such betrayal than what I've felt going through this now. The lies, the just flat out lies, the reckless endangerment of my children's health, my neighbors, my friends, their children. It's just devastating for me to see it, and it's wrong, and it's not ethical. And I'm gonna do something about it. I never thought that this would happen to us, to me. This is like third world country type of stuff. I never thought that living in the United States that we would have to worry about drinking poisonous water. I never thought this would happen. I never thought that my husband's employer would poison my own children.
That was Lacey, a victim of the Red Hill fuel leak. Aloha, I'm Coralie Chun Matayoshi, attorney and host of KHON's What's the Law. Thank you for joining us for the Red Hill Legal Roundtable. Water is our most precious resource. Water is life. You trust that water from your faucet is safe to use and drink, but tainted water can lead to serious illness and even death. According to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency, on May 6, 2021 and November 20th, 2021, jet fuel and other contaminants from the U.S. Navy's Red Hill Fuel Storage Facility were accidentally released into the Navy water supply, potentially impacting 93,000 residents. The State Department of Health described the Red Hill fuel leak as a humanitarian disaster. Let's hear more from Lacey and the devastating impact the fuel leak had on her family.
Early on, we had we had our acute symptoms, which were puzzling because we didn't know we were being poisoned. The day we moved to Hawaii, we started drinking the water, and that's when the symptoms started. And they started out in a way where they're easy to dismiss at first, I take a shower, my eyes are burning, I have itchy skin, I smell gasoline. I can dismiss all of those things, each little thing on its own, and just happening once. But when it keeps happening every single time I shower, every time I eat, every time, and then it just kept happening. For the whole month that we lived in our hotel waiting for housing. And so it was just like this building array of symptoms, from body weakness to fatigue to the point where I could not get off the couch. My youngest started vomiting immediately. So we all had different intensity. The younger children, they were more intensely, acutely ill the first time they even had a first sip of the water. But for me, it took the month for me to get to that point. When we moved into our home, that's when I say was our worst point, when we got intensely ill all at the same time. And that was just so bizarre with the vomiting. My stomach was bloated, out to here, like I was pregnant. It was, what is happening? My throat was burning, my stomach was burning. When I urinate, burning, just laying there, everything in my body was burning. My eyes, my skin, my kids had sores inside of their mouths. There were just so many symptoms, it's hard to even recount all of them. It's really the long-term health problems for my children that keep me up at night, and that's what affects me the most, is thinking about that. Because we don't know, and nobody's helping, and nobody has any answers, and we're just navigating it on our own.
During the next half hour, we hope to shed some light on your legal rights if you or your loved ones have been impacted by the Red Hill fuel leak. Joining me now is the Red Hill legal team, made up of legal experts who are focused on advocating for the fuel leak victims. Lyle Hosoda heads the Hosoda Group, representing individuals and companies in complex cases for more than 35 years. He specializes in personal injury claims, in fuel contamination cases, aircraft, and helicopter crashes. Kristina Baehr is a victim of toxic poisoning herself. She's a national trial lawyer and the founder of Just Well Law, which represents sick families against the companies or government that made them sick. And James Baehr, a trial lawyer and veterans advocate who has dedicated his career to fighting for service members and their families in Hawaii and around the country. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you.
Let's start our discussion with a question for Lyle. We all know that water is life, especially in Hawaii. What does that mean to you, Lyle?
First of all, Coralie, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You know, we know that it's a privilege to live here in Hawaii. This is really about our future. You know, my family lives here. All of our friends that we've grown up for life have been here. Water is life. 60% of our bodies are made up of water. We live on an island. We have one shot at getting this right, you know, and if we don't get it right, we have to look for other places to live. So water is life, and we know that without water, you only have 4 minutes to live.
Right.
So we really this is a very, very important issue. So thank you for that question.
So Kristina, you've experienced toxic poisoning yourself. What can you tell us about Red Hill and the government's duty in this case?
Well, I focus on clean water and clean air. And we should all agree that the government must provide clean water to protect all of us from mayhem, illness, cancer, death. That's rule number one. We can agree. Rule number two is if the government contaminates the water, which it should never do, see rule number one, then the government must warn us to stop drinking the water to protect all of us from mayhem, illness, cancer, death. That is what the government did not do here. In May and November of 2021, they had an enormous jet fuel leak, both times, and they failed to warn people to stop drinking the water. They poisoned, and I don't use that word lightly, 93,000 people on that water line and changed their life forever.
So Lyle, we've known each other for a very long time, and you're an experienced attorney who can pick and choose any case you want. Why this case?
Again, I think it really comes back to, you know, I have the opportunity, the privilege of standing up for those people and those issues that I feel strongly about. And this one, I do feel strongly about because it affects each and every one of us here. And it is just so important to have clean water for our very existence. And that's why I'm involved. And to stand for and behind all of those that have been affected and harmed by, you know, the contaminated water.
And what's so special about your team?
This team?
Yes.
You know, you're an attorney, and by way of background, and I appreciate so much all that you've done for our community with the Red Cross and formerly with our bar association. So we do go back a ways, and now we're getting too old. But our team is extra special because, as you know, many times mainland attorneys get a certain reputation for just, you know, not really genuinely caring about the issue or the people that they represent here. Special team here, very special team here. I think more than anything about any type of compensation, they're here because they're caring, compassionate, and very committed professionals. You hear those words, those things come with and over time. Kristina Baehr, when I first met her, I told her about these things as local counsel. Presence makes a difference. She has been here. They have been here 4 and 5 times physically, and not just to court or to deposition. They have come here to meet with and be a part of the community. They have met with the clients on many, many occasions, let them speak, hear from them. But Kristina has also met, you know, many of the business leaders. We work collaboratively with others that are bringing claims. So it's very special to have not only their skill set, which they're very good at, because Kristina actually worked on federal tort claims on the other side, and Jim has military background as well. And our third partner, Mark Lanier, if you go to his website, mass tort experience, mass tort, a wealth of it. So it is a special team, but the words that come back from me are also their commitment and the trust that we've built in one another. So I don't even think of them just as co-counsel anymore. They're my friends, and we're committed, and especially we're very committed to the cause as well as to all of our clients.
So Kristina, we both know that it's not easy to go against the federal government. We're based on the English system of law where you had to get permission to sue the king. What is the Federal Tort Claims Act, and what does it require?
I used to represent the United States in these claims, which made me a perfect fit for this case, and I wasn't scared of it. Because the Federal Tort Claims Act allows anyone who has been harmed by the negligence of the United States to bring a claim against the United States for the harm. That's a beautiful thing. As you said, not every country even allows that. But in this country, we've said that if a federal officer was negligent and causes harm, which is what happened here, a federal officer caused that fuel leak, you are entitled to compensation for the harm because you were affected by that negligence. That's beautiful. And it is this case is exactly what that act was designed for. We filed the case. The government has not moved to dismiss it in its entirety. And that's a testament to the act and the power of the victims to come forward under the act and claim relief as they're entitled to. It's their right.
So Jim, how do you know if you have a claim?
All 93,000 people who were on the Navy waterline from May to November of last year have a claim. And we're here because we are dedicated to seeing as many of those people as possible file a claim. We care passionately about our clients. We keep coming back. We keep holding town halls to educate people about their legal rights and their opportunities here. And we're going to continue to do that because our deepest fear is that people don't realize that they have a claim. You know, we were invited into a home of some of our friends who are here on the island. We become friends with our clients. And we were talking to them about the effects of jet fuel and what that could mean, what that could do to you. And they didn't even realize they had a claim until we talked to them a little bit about it. And so that's our concern. But it's very simple to find out if you have a claim, and that's to reach out to us. We have a dedicated team that's ready to talk to you about, do you have a claim, do you not have a claim? And every single person that was on that Navy waterline has a claim, and they should bring a claim.
So even if you don't have any symptoms yet, should you file a claim?
Correct. And we're going to talk a little bit about that as well. Hawaii law has special opportunities for folks, even if it's just fear or anxiety that they're experiencing. But we believe that this has caused significant disruption, illness, and fear in people's lives, and they should bring the claim now.
Thank you, Jim. We'll take a little break right here before we continue with our discussion. Let's take a look at a local family struggle following the Red Hill fuel leak. This is Dee's story.
The Navy screwed it up. This would be like a good, almost a week worth of showering, washing my face, washing my hands.
And you're paying for all the water yourself now.
When I showered today, I had to use 5 of these to shower. But I thought we were safe because we were using all the filters just from Walmart and Target. It didn't keep us safe. It's really hard because it's affecting me. I know it's affecting me mentally, it's affecting me emotionally, it's affecting me a lot. And I know it's affecting my husband because he's tired of seeing me like this, you know. I'm afraid that there's gonna be findings that the Navy's gonna find. They're gonna hold against me when I have to face them in court. Things that I've been saying, because I've been saying things way before I met you guys. And I'm worried about retaliation. Hearing what's happening to the others, getting surgeries and all, I'm scared. My goal was to be healthy. I've been feeling since June tightening in my throat while we were using the water, while I was soaking in the water. Felt like cutting in the knife, you know, like a knife cutting in through my intestines. I've been advocating about the water because this is my birth island. I was born 1976 on Oahu, Hawaii. All my family are from here. I think I was scared. I was in denial. I didn't know what the hell. And I was being protected for our Pearl City Peninsula. And I'm just scared. I really am scared. I'm scared of health issues. I'm scared of finding out that something is really, 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 really bad, you know? I know that the US government, Pentagon, the Navy, that they hurt me and my family. Emotionally, mentally, and health-wise.
It was the April-May timeframe that we set the tent up and have been in it ever since. Count those months, 5-6 months of being in a tent. But you adapt, right? I mean, you make the best of what you've got and you press on. The Navy released their official statement that there had been a large spill. I do not believe our water is safe. Originally we were told it was safe, and it wasn't until a couple days later that I guess they got some test results back and said, no, we have to admit it is not safe to drink. My suspicion is it's actually affected the aquifer and it's getting into public wells, and we will not consume the water here ever again. And it wasn't too much longer after being here that my wife began to develop some rather odd medical issues. Rashes, headaches, nausea, diarrhea, the whole gamut of GI kind of issues that are associated with fuel poisoning. But I sent her home in August again, basically to just get her off the island. We're actually in the process of trying to terminate my assignment here and get home early so that she can heal. It's about really understanding what are the effects. When I look around at many of the families in the neighborhood with young children, and I think of the long-term effects on them, I hope they get the help they need. So at this point, it is what it is, and I know it will be that way until I successfully get off the island.
Lyle, why should people that were potentially harmed take action now to protect their legal rights? And is there a deadline or what we call a statute of limitations?
I'm going to give you a very unlawyer-like answer. So many times lawyers argue or have different positions on what that might be or how long, when did it start to run. Let's just make it real simple. It's 2 years. 2 years from the date of December of 2021, so the statute would run in December of 2023. December of 2021 is when the government admitted to this wrongdoing. So the outside would be 2023 of December. Now, the key here is, as Jim said, don't wait. Don't wait because you'll potentially compromise your rights. It does take some effort for the legal team to work up your claim, so you do not want to wait to the last minute to go forward. Of course, the more time that goes by, evidence could be lost, evidence could be destroyed, memories fade. So if you have a claim or think you have a claim, and as long as you're on that waterline and you've been exposed or harmed, you do have a claim. So I think the key message is to make it now. I think one of the things that kind of confuses people sometimes is like when they see ads for Camp Lejeune, you know, and they're saying, if you've got a claim, or you think you've been exposed back in 1950 through 1980, then you can make a claim. Well, the only reason those ads are running is because there was an act of Congress, as you know, that was passed and became law this year. You don't want to wait on an act of Congress for you to make a claim. So very clearly, the answer is 2 years, and go now.
And a local example is the Hawaiian Homelands beneficiaries. Some of them waited too long and now they can't do anything because they had to have filed a claim by 1995 for acts of breaches of trust that occurred prior to that. And now nobody can join the class action and nobody else can assert a claim. So you're right in saying that people should not wait. That's a great example. Thank you, Coralie. So Jim, what is the process for filing a claim and does it cost you anything?
So the first thing to do is to reach out. Well.law/redhill is our website, and reach out to us. And again, we have a dedicated group of folks that are just going to reach out. It's very simple, and they'll be in touch with you, and they'll talk to you about the process. The process after that is for them to get your story. And we take great pride in individually working with each of our client families and telling their story in the most effective way of what happened to them. We think that's the way to represent them well. And so we'll work on that, and we'll submit that claim, and then the government has 6 months to make a decision on the claim, and then we move forward into the complaint phase. But the key thing is reach out. It's very simple. It sounds complicated, but there's a human being that we've got, our whole team, and we're ready to talk to folks. They just need to go to well.law/redhill.
So Lyle, under Hawaii law, can you bring a claim of fear against the Navy?
Under Hawaii law, we believe that you can bring a claim for fear, and it's real. I've been talking to many of our clients and prospective clients, and they do live in fear. Did they drink the water? Were they exposed? Was that shower, or their pets? So often I hear stories of, I was walking the dog and they didn't realize it at the time, but people got sick. Pets got sick. Some passed away. Just the fear of having been exposed is real, and you can make a claim for that.
So Jim, you're currently serving in the U.S. Marine Reserves. Why are you involved in this case, and how will your extensive experience help the Red Hill victims?
We are, we consider ourselves, incredibly patriotic Americans. We love our country. We love our military. I've served for years in the military and just have been so honored to do that. I represented Marines against the government, and I'm just honored to represent civilians and many military families in this case against the government. We see this as a patriotic duty, right? We have civilian control of the military, and we need to make sure the military lives up to its obligations. We have a special statute, the Federal Tort Claims Act, which specifically gives folks the opportunity to pursue claims against the government when the government makes mistakes. And we live in a great country that allows for that to happen. And we truly believe that everybody who has a claim should bring a claim. And that this is really about strengthening our country, strengthening our community, and restoring these families.
Kristina, what do your clients want to get out of this case?
They want truth. They want to know what was in their water. They want accountability. They want to make sure that this never happens again. And that's what this system is for. That's what the judicial system is for. Those safety rules that I mentioned, that they have to provide clean water, and they have to warn us not to drink contaminated water. It's the justice system that enforces those rules. And if we don't bring a claim, if they don't bring a claim, then the rules won't be enforced. So they want to make sure it never, ever, ever happens again. And then finally, they want compensation so that they can take care of their long-term health needs and the needs of their family. If you ask them, they'll say over and over and over again, they are doing it for their children. They're doing it for their children.
So Jim, what is a mass action?
A mass action is a situation where an act of negligence or a situation such as what happened here affects many, many people. And when you're dealing with a mass action, the courts have certain rules and the ways that they conduct it. Something that's important to us is that this is not a class action. A lot of folks have concerns about class actions because they get those cards in the mail that say, you've got 25 cents because Amazon got sued while a lawyer made $25 million. And that's not what we're doing here. We're focused on individual attention to each of our clients. Even though so many people were affected, we want to tell their stories. We want to get individual compensation for what they deserve based on the categories of illness that they have experienced. And so that's what we're devoted to doing.
Thank you to all of our panelists for sharing your expertise and insight with us tonight. Before we wrap up, we have some final thoughts on tonight's discussion from each of our panelists. Let's go back to you, Jim.
I was honored to be able to represent this country as a federal prosecutor. I was honored to be able to serve in the military, and now I'm incredibly honored to be part of this case and working with Kristina and working with Lyle to represent the hundreds of clients that we represent and the hundreds more to come. Everybody who was on that waterline from May to November has a claim from last year, and we want to represent you. It costs nothing for us to investigate the case. There's no payment for us up front, and it's a contingency case, contingent on the outcome. We are dedicated to our clients. We care deeply about this issue. We care deeply about them, and we're going to continue to be here on the island and reach out to people until we get as many people as possible to bring a claim in this case.
Thank you, Jim. What about you, Kristina? Do you have a final message?
I love this country, and this is a unique case because the government admitted that it caused the harm, and the government's taken responsibility for it. So what this case is really about is giving the government the opportunity to make it right now, because that's what this is about. They caused the harm, they poisoned people, they know that, they say they're gonna make it right, and this case says, here's your chance for all the people who were affected. So come to the table with us so that we can bring your claim along with the others in giving the government a chance to make it right.
Mahalo, Kristina. How about you, Lyle?
It's about the specialness of Hawaii. We're a very trusting community. Now, and I think we're so trusting because we have each other. You know, everybody knows everybody here. And so for that reason, you think you're protected. And this comes down to trust, right? We trusted those that provided us with water. We trusted that they would test it. We trusted that in the event that there was contaminated fuel, that they would let us know. And then we trusted that in the event that there were people that were harmed by it, that they would get treatment for it. Unfortunately, as you know, this really hasn't happened. So there's been a breach of trust for us, and we have to make it right. I keep thinking about the Defend Hawaii bumper stickers that I see with the guns. I thought about it. I said, wait a minute. We're never going to even get the guns if we don't have clean water, and we're only lasting 4 days. So to defend Hawaii and protect Hawaii, that's why we're here, and this issue and cause is really, really important for us. So thank you again for having us.
Thank you. And Kristina has one more message on behalf of the Hosoda Law Group, Jezebel Law, and the Lanier Law Firm. Kristina.
We want to represent you. If you lived on the waterline from May to November of 2021, call us. It's easy. We are standing with our clients. We're connecting our clients to each other. We're helping people get the care they need. We are giving government a chance to make it right. We're already at the table. Our case is on file. And it's just a question of adding your name to that lawsuit that's already there. So what keeps me up at night is there are 92,000 people who we don't represent, who maybe don't know that they have a claim. So spread the word, because the time is now if you want to be included. We don't need more clients, but we want to make sure everyone who wants to has the opportunity to come to the table with us and demand that the government make it right, just as they have promised they will.
Thank you again to our panelists for providing us with such important information, and thank you for joining us. Aloha.
The Red Hill Legal Roundtable was sponsored by Hosoda Law Group, Justwell Law, and Lanier Law Firm.
The preceding was a paid program and does not reflect the opinions and views of Nexstar Media Incorporated, this station, its employees, or independent contractors. This program is not intended to provide viewers with legal advice. If you are seeking legal advice, please consult a licensed attorney.